Okay, in 1 in a Million, or my VA movie, part 1 through 9, I had basically said that at the end of all that I would take some time, and we'll call this Title 38, Code of Federal Regulations, Pensions, Bonuses, and Veterans Relief. Excuse me. And as it says, and I'm going to read this, but if I read it faster than you do and you want to go back and look at it, you can actually go on site with Veterans Administration and pull up these regulations, or you can just go ahead and hit pause, of course, and then take your time reading these things as you wish. I think they're pretty self-explanatory. I don't think you need to be an attorney to figure out all this stuff, but let's start with Section 5107. Claimant responsibility, benefit of the doubt. Claimant responsibility, except as otherwise provided by law, a claimant has a responsibility to present and support a claim for benefits under laws administered by the Secretary. B, benefits of the doubt. The Secretary shall consider all information and lay and medical evidence of record in a case before the Secretary with respect to benefits under laws administered by the Secretary. When there is an approximate balance of positive and negative evidence regarding any issue material to the determination of a matter, the Secretary shall give the benefit of the doubt to the claimant. I think we saw several times where that probably wasn't done. So here is subsection 3.102, reasonable doubt, as described in Title 38 of the U.S. Code of Federal Regulations, Pensions, Bonuses, and Veterans Relief. Note, Title 38 contains the regulations of the Department of Veterans Affairs, which govern entitlement to all veteran benefits. It is the defined and consistently applied policy of the Department of Veterans Affairs to administer the law under a broad interpretation, consistent, however, with the facts shown in every case. When, after careful consideration of all procurable and assembled data, a reasonable doubt arises regarding service origin, the degree of disability, or any point such as doubt will be resolved in favor of the claimant, the veteran. By reasonable doubt is meant one which exists because of an approximate balance of positive and negative evidence which does not satisfactorily prove or disprove the claim. It is a substantial doubt and one within the range of probability, as distinguished from pure speculation or remote possibility. It is not a means of reconciling actual conflict or a contradiction in the evidence. Mere suspicion or doubt as to the truth of any statement is not justifiable basis for denying the application of the reasonable doubt doctrine if the entire complete record otherwise warrants invoking this doctrine. The reasonable doubt doctrine is also applicable even in the absence of official records, particularly if the basis incident allegedly arose under combat or similarly strenuous conditions and is consistent with the probable results of such known hardships. Authority 38 U.S. Code 501A. So that's reasonable doubt. If I can find where my mouse is. Excuse me again. Subsection 3.156, new and material evidence. A claimant may reopen a finally educated claim by submitting new and material evidence. New evidence means existing evidence not previously submitted to agency decision makers. Material evidence means existing evidence that by itself or when considered with previous evidence of record relates to an unestablished fact necessary to substantiate the claim. New and material evidence can be neither cumulative nor redundant of the evidence of record at the time of the last prior final denial of the claim sought to be reopened, and must raise a reasonable possibility of substantiating the claim. Authority 38 U.S. Code 501, 5013A, and 501(8). B, same claim. Pending claim. New and material evidence received prior to the expiration of the appeal period or prior to the appellate decision of a timely appeal has been filed, including evidence received prior to an appellate decision or referred to the agency or origin jurisdiction by the Board of Veterans' Appeals without consideration in that decision in accordance with provisions of 20.1304 BI of this chapter, will be considered as having been filed in connection with the claim which was pending at the beginning of the appeal period. Authority 38 U.S. Code 501. C. Service Department records. 1. Notwithstanding any other section of this part, at any time after VA issues a decision on a claim, if VA receives or associates with the claim's file relevant official service department records that existed and had not been associated with the claim's file when VA first decided the claim, VA will reconsider the claim, notwithstanding paragraph A of this section. Such records include but are not limited to I, it's either I or 1, I'm not sure how they do this. Service records that are related to a claimed in-service event, injury, or disease, regardless of whether such records mention the veteran by name, as long as the other requirements of paragraph C of this section are met. Let's move up a little bit more here. II. Additional service records forwarded by the Department of Defense or the Service Department to VA anytime after VA's original request for service records. And 3. Declassified records that could not have been obtained because the records were classified when VA decided the claim. 2. Paragraph C I of this section does not apply to records that VA could have obtained when it decided the claim because the records did not exist when VA decided the claim, or because the claimant filed or failed to provide sufficient information for VA to identify and obtain the records from the respective service department, the Joint Services Records Research Center, or from any other official source. Try and keep that one in mind. It's basically saying does not apply to records that the VA would or could have obtained when it decided to claim because the records did not exist when VA decided to claim, or because claimant failed to provide sufficient information for VA to identify and obtain records from the respective service department, the Joint Services Records Research Center, or from any official source. They will change that later on, as you will see. 3. An award made based on or in part of the records identified in paragraph C I of this section is effective on the date entitlement arose or the date VA received the previously decided claim, whichever is later, or such other date as may be authorized by the provisions of this part applicable to the previously decided claim. 4. A retroactive evaluation of disability resulting from disease or injury subsequently service connected on the basis of the new evidence from the service department must be supported adequately by the medical evidence, where such records clearly support the assignment of a specific rating over a part of the entire period of time involved. A retroactive evaluation will be assigned accordingly, except as it may be affected by the filing date of the original claim. Subsection 3.159 Department of